Hey Achievers, welcome to ACE Academy. So today we'll be looking at the current affairs of February 13th and 14th. So without much delay, let's get into the first question. So the first question is, in February 23, the first ammunition cum torpedo cum missile baggage yard 125 was launched by Captain Prashant Saxena at Surya Dipthi Project Private Limited. So the options are Porbandar, Gujarat; Udupi, Karnataka; Thane, Maharashtra; Chennai, Tamil Nadu; Kochi, Kerala. So the correct answer is option 3, Thane, Maharashtra. So now let's look at the explanation. So the first ammunition cum torpedo cum missile baggage yard 125 was launched by Captain Prashant Saxena at Suryodipta Project Private Limited, which is in Thane, Maharashtra, and it is a MSME, micro, small and medium enterprise. So in this baggage, all the major and auxiliary equipments are sourced from indigenous manufacture, and this caters to the Make in India initiative by the Ministry of Defence, and the service life of the baggage is 30 years. So now let's move on to the next question. So the second question is, as per the Directorate General of Civil Aviation data in February 2023, India's position has improved to dash position from 112th place in aviation safety overnight ranking of International Civil Aviation Organization. So the options are 40th, 60th, 32nd, 29th and 55th. So the correct answer is option 5, 55th. So now let's look at the explanation. So as per the Director General of Civil Aviation, India's position has improved in aviation safety overnight ranking of the International Civil Aviation Organization, as India's security monitoring ranking has improved to the 55th position from 112th position. So under the continuous monitoring approach of the Universal Safety Overnight Oversight Audit Program, which was coordinated a validation mission which was launched in November 9th to 16th, 2022. So the ICAO team reviewed the progress in addressing 137 protocol questions, out of which 101 protocol questions are now satisfactory, 1 question is not applicable, and 35 questions remain unsatisfactory, and this resulted in an updated overall effective implementation of 85.65%. So now let's move on to the next question. So the third question is, which asset management company has recently launched 3 open-ended exchange traded fund schemes? So the options are Axis Asset Management, Kotak Mahindra Asset Management, ICICI Prudential Asset Management, HDFC Asset Management, Edwells Asset Management. So the correct answer is option 4, HDFC Asset Management. So now let's look at the explanation. So the HDFC Asset Management Company Limited, investment manager to the HDFC Mutual Fund, launched 3 open-ended exchange traded fund schemes, which is HDFC S&P BSE 500 ETF, HDFC Nifty Mid Cap 150 ETF, and HDFC Nifty Small Cap 250 ETF, which replicate the S&P BSE 500 index, Nifty Mid Cap 150 index, and Nifty Small Cap 250 index respectively. So the captioned new fund commenced on 30th January 2023, and it will close on 13th of February 2023. The scheme will be managed by Abhishek Moore, Nirman Morakhia, and Arun Agarwal. And the objective of the scheme is to provide returns that are commensurate with the performance of underlying index over long term, subjecting to tracking errors. So now let's move on to the next question. So the fourth question is, name the company that has recently launched the G20 themed QR code to celebrate India's presidency of the Intergovernmental Forum and India's leadership in mobile payments. So the options are Paytm, Razorpay, MobiWik, PhonePe, and BharatPay. So the correct answer is option 1, Paytm. So now let's look at the explanation. So 197 Communications Limited, which owns financial services company that is Paytm, launched a G20 themed QR to celebrate India's presidency of the Intergovernmental Forum and India's leadership in mobile payments. So Ashwini Vaishnaw, who is the Union Minister for Railways and Information Technology, launched the QR code during the Digital Payment Utsav at the India Habitat Center in New Delhi. So the special commemorative QR code includes the DigiDan mission, which is the logo for MITI, which is the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, along with the logo for G20 in 2023 and 75th anniversary of India's independence. So the Paytm is planning a special drive under the Digital Payment Utsav, in which a branded car will travel to several areas in Delhi with high public presence. So now let's move on to the next question. So the fifth question is, which of the following companies has recently signed an agreement with Air India to buy around 500 new planes worth $100 billion? So the options are Boeing, Airbus, Lockheed Martin, both 1 and 2, both 2 and 3. So the correct answer is option 4, both 1 and 2. So now let's look at the explanation. So Tata's Air India has signed agreement to buy around 500 new planes worth $100 billion at the list price. The deal for around 500 planes is split between French company Airbus and Boeing based in United States of America. So Boeing agreed to the deal on 21st January 2023 and Airbus agreed to the deal on 10th February 2023. So now let's move on to the next question. So the sixth question is, who has recently received the Flex Hofto Bongi United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization Peace Prize 2022? So the options are Itzhak Rabin, Angela Merkel, Marty Hati Shari, Yasser Arafat, Shimon Peres. So the correct answer is option 2, Angela Merkel. So now let's look at the explanation. Angela Merkel, who is the former Chancellor of Germany, received the Flax Hop-Oti Bongi UNESCO Peace Prize 2022 during the ceremony held in Yamoussoukro, which is the capital of Ivory Coast. She received the prize in recognition of her efforts to welcome the refugee during her term in the office, and the international jury member headed by Denis Mukwege, who is also a gynecologist and a Nobel Prize winner, announced Angela Merkel as the recipient of the Flex Hop-Hot Bongi UNESCO Peace Prize 2022 in August 2022. So now let's move on to the next question. So the seventh question is, name the personality from Mumbai, Maharashtra, who was recently crowned as the winner of Taj Miss India 2023 at the grand finale of Taj Miss and Mrs. India 2023. So the options are Divija Gambhir, Natasha Sadpal, Preeti Khana, Akshata Rakshe, Isha Prasad. So the correct answer is option 4, Akshata Rakshe. So now let's look at the explanation. So Akshata Rakshe, who is from Mumbai, Maharashtra, was crowned as the winner of Taj Miss India 2023 at the grand finale of Taj Miss and Mrs. India 2023, which was held at Sadhana Regency, which is in Pune, Maharashtra. Natasha Sadpal was announced as the first runner-up, and Isha was announced as the second runner-up of the Taj Miss India 2023. And the jury panels are actor Dhanashri Balekar and actor, writer, and director Chetan Shavada, and Miss India 2018 Pia Roy, and dental herbs doctor Sagar Abhichandani. So now let's move on to the next question. So the eighth question is, who was appointed as the Prime Minister of Republic of Moldova after the resignation of Natalia Gavrilita in February 2023? So the options are Dorin Resi and Mia Sandu, Aureliu Siokoi, Gerge Briga, Ion Chichu. So the correct answer is option 1, Dorin Dresian. So now let's look at the explanation. So Natalia Gavrilita, 41-year-old Prime Minister of Republic of Moldova, announced a resignation from the post, claiming a lack of support in the former Soviet Union. The pro-Western government had been in power for just 18 months, so from August 2021 to February 2023. And Maya Sandu, who is the president of Moldova, appointed presidential advisor Dorin Dresian, a pro-Western economist, as the new PM following the resignation of Natalia Gavrilita. So now let's move on to the next question. So the ninth question is, in February 2023, Ekta Kapoor and Shobha Kapoor stepped down from their position as the head of ALT Balaji, a subsidiary of Balaji Telefilms Limited, an OTT platform, who was recently named as the Chief Business Officer of ALT Balaji. So the options are Inna Khan, Tejasvi Prakash, Vivek Kokha, Arjit Tanija, Ronit Roy. So the correct answer is option 3, Vivek Kokha. So now let's look at the explanation. So Ekta Kapoor, and a film producer, and her mother Shobha Kapoor have stepped down from their position as the head of ALT Balaji, which is a subsidiary of Balaji Telefilms Limited, an OTT platform. The process of stepping down started in 2022. So Vivek Kokha, who has been named the Chief Business Officer of the ALT Balaji, will now run the online streaming business. So ALT Balaji wants to continue its excellent tradition of providing its customers with original high quality programming under the leadership of Vivek Kokha. So Shobha Kapoor and Ekta Kapoor are the managing directors and the joint managing directors of Balaji Telefilms Limited, respectively. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 10th question is, name the bank that has recently acquired 100% of equity shares of Sonata Finance Private Limited for about rupees 537 crores in cash. So the options are Yes Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, IndusInd Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank. So the correct answer is option 2, Kotak Mahindra Bank. So now let's look at the explanation. So Kotak Mahindra Bank has entered into binding share purchase agreement with existing shareholders to acquire 100% of the equity shares of Sonata Finance Private Limited for about 537 crores in cash. The acquisition is scheduled to be completed in April to September period of the fiscal year 23 to 24, and the SFPL, which stands for Sonata Finance Private Limited, will be wholly owned subsidiary of KMBL, which is Kotak Mahindra Bank Limited, once the transaction is approved by the Reserve Bank of India. And the SFPL is a non-banking financial company and a microfinance institution, which is also known as NBFC MFI. MFI. So now let's move on to the next question. So 11th question is, in February 2023, India Space Research Organization and the Indian Navy carried out initial recovery trials of the crew module in the water survival test facility in Kochi, Kerala for Dash mission. So the options are Chandrayaan 3, Sukrayan, Aditya, Pragyan, Gangayaan. So the correct answer is option 5, Gangayaan. So now let's look at the explanation. The Indian Space Research Organization and the Indian Navy carried out initial recovery trials of crew module in the water survival test facility in Kochi, Kerala for the Gangayaan mission, which is her India's human space flight mission. So a crew module recovery model was used for the trial that stimulates the mass, the center of gravity, and the outer dimension and the externals of the actual crew module at the touchdown. So according to ISRO, the Gangayaan project will demonstrate the capability of human space flight by sending its 3 crew members into 400-kilometer orbit for a 3-day mission and safely bringing them back to the land in Indian sea waters. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 12th question is, when was the United Nations International Day of Women and Girls in Science 2023 observed across the globe? So the options are 11th February 23, 8th February 23, 9th February 23, 13th February 23, 10th February 23. So the correct answer is option 1, 11th February 2023. So now let's look at the explanation. So the United Nations International Day of Women and Girls in Science 23 was observed across the globe on 11th February 23 to promote the full and equal access and participation of women in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which is also known as STEM fields. So 11th February 2023 marks the observance of 8th International Day of Women and Girls in Science. So the theme of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science is innovative, demonstrate, elevate, advance, sustain, bringing communities forward for sustainable and equitable development. The first ever International Day on Women and Girls in Science was observed on 11th of February 2016. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 13th question is, what is the theme of the World Unani Day 2023 that was observed across the globe on 11th February 23? So the options are Unani medicine for public health, integration of Unani medical system in mainstream health services, diet and nutrition in Unani medicine for good health and well-being, disease prevention in the new normal through Unani system of medicine, opportunities and challenges in the times of COVID-19. So the correct answer is option 1, Unani medicine for public health. So now let's look at the explanation. So World Unani Day 23 was observed across the globe on 11th February 2023 with the theme of Unani medicine for public health. The day also commemorates the birth anniversary of Muhammad Ajmal Khan. He is also known as Hakim Ajmal Khan, who is a great Indian Unani scholar and a social reformer. The 11th February 23 marks his 155th anniversary of Muhammad Ajmal Khan. So the first ever World Unani Day was observed across the globe on 11th February 2017 at the Central Research Institute of Unani Medicine, which is now known as the National Research Institute of Unani Medicine for Skin Disorder, which is in Hyderabad, Telangana. The International Conference on Unani Medicine for Public Health was held on 10th and 11th February 23 in New Delhi, which was organized by CRIUM, which stands for the Central Research Institute of Unani Medicine, which comes under the Ministry of Ayush. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 14th question is, when was 31st World Day of Sikh observed across the globe? So the options are 10th February 23, 12th February 23, 9th February 23, 11th February 23, 13th February 23. So the correct answer is option 4th, 11th February 23. So now let's look at the explanation. So World Day of Sikh is annually observed across the globe on 11th February, and it marks the annual day of prayer for Sikh. So the day was established by Pope John Paul II in 1992 as a way to offer hope and comfort to those who are suffering from illness. The day also marks the feast day of Our Lady of Lauders in honor of the Marian apparitions that were said to have been seen in and around Lauders, France. So 11th February 23 marks the 31st World Day of Sikh with the theme of observance, take care of him, compassion as a synodal exercise of healing. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 15th question is, which of the following points are correct with respect to Rajasthan State Government Budget 23 to 24 presented by Ashok Gehlot, CM, and the Minister of Finance in February 23? The liquefied petroleum gas subsidiary will benefit at least 76 lakh families under the Ujjwal scheme who would receive LPG cylinders at Rs 500. The Rajasthan government would provide free electricity of up to 2000 units to 11 lakh farmers. The APJ Abdul Kalam Institute of Biotechnology will be built in Jodhpur, Rajasthan at a cost of Rs 500 crore. So the correct answers, so the options are only A and B, only B and C, only A and C, all A, B and C. So the correct answer is option 2. Only A and B. So now let's look at the explanation. So Ashok Gehlot, who is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan and the Minister of Finance, presented the state's 23 to 24 budget for the first time. The state budget was streamed live to all the state government offices and private colleges. The budget for 23 to 24 gains importance as it is the final budget of the current Ashok Gehlot-led government, which is about to go for election in 23. So the liquefied petroleum gas subsidy will benefit at least 76 lakh families under the Ujjwal scheme who would receive LPG cylinders at Rs 500, and the Rajasthan government would provide free electricity to up to 2000 units to 11 lakh farmers. The annual family limit for medical coverage under the Chiranjeevi Swasthya Bima Yojana, which is a health insurance scheme, has raised from 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs, and the APJ Abdul Kalam Institute of Biotechnology will be built in Jaipur, Rajasthan, in northern Jodhpur at a cost of 300 crores. So now let's move on to the next question. The 16th question is, which of the following points are correct with respect to recent approval by the Assam government in February 23? So the state cabinet of Assam, chaired by Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sarma, cleared the Assam Industrial and Investment Policy Amendment 2023. The Assam Factories Amendment Rules 2023 was approved in the view of certain omissions and errors in the existing provision. The approval of power purchase subsidy of Rs 150 crore to Assam Power Distribution Company Limited for erasing the burden on consumers. So the options are only A and B, only B and C, only A and C, all A, B and C. So the correct answer is option 5, all A, B and C. So, the state cabinet of Assam, chaired by the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, cleared the Assam Industrial and Investment Policy Amendment 2023 to amend the existing policy for attracting global investment through customized incentives for implementing the mega projects in the state and to make Assam a globally competitive investment destination. The Assam Factories Amendment Rules 23 was approved in the view of certain omissions and errors in the existing provisions. The approval for power purchase subsidies of rupees 150 crore to Assam Power Distribution Company Limited for easing the burden of consumers. So now let's move on to the next question. So the 17th question is, which state government has recently launched the portal for creation of Parivar Pehchan family identity, one family, one ID, with Parivar Pehchan means family identity, one family, one ID. So the options are Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Gujarat. So the correct answer is option 3, Uttar Pradesh. So now let's look at the explanation. So Uttar Pradesh government has launched the portal for creation of Parivar Pehchan, one family, one ID, to identify the family as a unit to implement one family, one job scheme. The aim of this is to give all discounted rations to the families without ration card who are eligible for the National Food Security Scheme, and the database entered into the portal will help with better beneficiary scheme management, timely targeting, and transparent operation, gaining 100% of the benefits of the scheme to the eligible persons and streamlining public access to the government services. So now let's move on to the next question. Okay, so that's it. This is the last question. So we are done with today's question. So I'll meet you tomorrow. Till then, eat well, sleep well, study well. Bye bye.